When I asked for Coach Pruitt a few minutes ago, the older Coach Pruitt said which one. So we have them back-to-back today. And the Pisgah Eagles up now, and Coach Luke Pruitt. And Coach, if you'd let them introduce themselves, or you introduce your players and their positions, and some opening comments about this year's Pisgah Eagles.
First of all, I just want to say thank y'all for what y'all do for promoting the game in North Alabama. We're lucky to have the coverage that we have. Thank y'all for that. I don't know, some of y'all in the room don't know, but Jeff was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, so congrats again on that. Some of y'all may not recognize him, but you hear the voice because everybody turns on Friday nights. Most of the time you're going back and forth and hear his voice. But we thank y'all for what y'all do for football in the state of Alabama. To my left, I have A.J. Gant. This is A.J.'s third year starting for us. He made all-county, all-region the last 2 years. We're relying heavily on A.J. on the offensive line. He plays left tackle. He also plays on the defensive line for us as well. But we're relying on his leadership. Beside me is Caden Hawkins, number 10. This will be his fourth year starting. He started about the fourth game into his freshman year. The last 2 years he's made over 100 tackles for us at Mike linebacker. He plays tight end as well. But these are the two guys that came, and like some of the other coaches have mentioned, we could have brought more than that, but these are the two guys that I wanted to come with us. But last year, proud of our seniors that helped us get over the hump. We felt like we were able to do something we hadn't done in 19 years. We won the region for the first time. We were upset in the first round, and we've carried that with us into the offseason. We have 9 guys back on offense, 7 guys back on defense, so we're excited about what we have coming this year. The expectations has risen, and that's something that we're looking forward to. Can't wait to get back next Monday.
Coach, that was going to be my question after you told me how many starters, 9 on offense, 7 on defense. The expectations are really high coming off of last year going into this year. Could you speak on those? And I'm sure you relish the expectations.
Yes, that's the first time we've actually had some expectations. With success, your expectations grow to begin with, just where we were. But that's something that these guys can attest to, that the expectations has risen, where it is. You talk about you train at a level and then you're going to fall down to wherever it may go, but you want to train at a high level, and that's something that these guys have done, is held each other accountable in the off season, and we're excited about the expectations that we have. With expectations, success comes pressure as well, and that's something that our guys have got to learn to handle. We haven't been in that spot, so hopefully we'll have some this year. It means we've won more than we've lost.
Well, Coach, that's, last year kind of like you made a statement year and had a great year. Of course, you lost in the first round of the playoffs. Sometimes when kids get to that point and they've never been in that position, some things kind of will derail on you because you're not prepared, because, a lot of schools, they're prepared to go 3 and 4 rounds in the playoffs. Y'all get in the playoffs and maybe you kind of sort of hit the wall. Do you feel like that's something that could have happened?
I do. We've done something we hadn't done in 20 years. I wouldn't say we rested on it. Our kids, we still prepared the same, but possibly, you can ask these guys, but I think that possibly played a role. Nothing to take away from Sulligent. They put it to us a little bit there, but yes, I could see that very well.
Well, this is for the players. Yeah, I know Coach Pruitt, and he's very interested in you guys off the field. Tell us what he means to you off the field, how he influences you, because I know he's one of those type of coaches. He probably knew what you had for dinner last night, so he really keeps up with you guys. Tell us what that means to you to have a coach that takes that much interest in you.
I mean, Coach Pruitt's a great guy. He'll check in on you anytime you need him, or even, when you think you don't, and he knows that you need him. I mean, he makes sure that you have your grades up, he makes sure you're eating right, he makes you stay hydrated too, and that's what a good team like us needs.
He's always been kind of like a second father figure. I mean, if you ever need anything from him, he'll be the very first person to help you. If you ever have something to talk about, he'll be the very first person you can talk to about. He's always there to check on you, always making sure you're doing good in school. He's just looking out over your back for you.
Coach Pruitt, we talked about the playoff game and what happened there with Solich, and I want to go back to the very beginning of last season. A lot of teams, after losing the first three, begin to hang their heads as you approach the middle of the season. And it's not like there were games that were blowouts either. You guys were in every one of those ball games. Could you talk about what you saw over the course of the next 7 weeks to watch your guys grow in confidence and reel off not only 7 wins in a row, but how that has translated through this offseason to prepare you for this season?
Well, when we started, the 3 losses were quality opponents, and we were very close in every ball game. Seemed like we couldn't stop a soul, and that hurts me to the core because I call the defense. But we after the Faultville game, we'd made slow progressions. After the Faultville game, we didn't get back on the bus. We had about a 30-minute team meeting. Was it 30 guys? Said we can they say Insanity's doing the same thing over and over, and expecting the same results. And we kind of had to come to Jesus right there in the locker room at Faultville. Said, look, guys, we got to get to that next step. What do we got to do to get to that next step? And they were doing all the things right, but something wasn't connected, and we got it kind of right. And I tell you this, it's a lot more fun to win than it does anything else. The fun's in the winning. It makes it a lot easier. Because some of those nights, it was, beat your head over the wall, you're getting the same thing. But it was fun watching it to get to that point. Watching, see the guys. It's a lot easier to go to practice and do all those things. So it was much better once it started, it kind of snowballed a little bit. And that's something, the expectations there that hadn't been there before. If you don't know how to win, learning to win, you have to do that.
For the players, what was it like to finally break through and have that kind of success you guys had last year, and how hungry has it made you for more?
I mean, starting since freshman year, it took a lot of work. You had to build it up. It just didn't start overnight. You had to lay down the foundation. It took a lot of games to do that. And being able to finally break past the wall and start rolling with a winning streak and win the region last year and get to the playoffs, even though we were beat in the first round. It makes you understand what you can do and builds you the confidence. And I'm really excited to see what we can do this year.
It leaves you hungry for more. We've been used to being 4-6, barely making it into the playoffs. But once you finally win, it's just like, what else can we do? Going out in the first round last year was a real bummer. But after getting to the winning region and getting to the playoffs as hosting, you just think, what's next? You play with that chip on your shoulder the whole season, and eventually comes from first round to second round to third, and hopefully state.
Coach, you guys seemed to catch traction after those first 3 games. There had to be some kind of message that was said to the team or something, some kind of mindset change. What was it last year that ignited that winning streak you guys went on?
These guys beside us and those seniors finally, you can only go so far with a coach-led team, and those guys kind of took on that role. Kind of challenged the upperclassmen, about, it's your team. We only go as far as y'all carry us. And I think that was the thing, and they kind of figured it out a little bit. It took us a little while, but we finally got it there.
It seemed like your offense was a little bit ahead of the D last year, and then they both kind of came around the street. This year coming in, approaching, obviously that's going to be a point of emphasis on you. It's going to be defensive improvement, things like that. What are some of the things you've done this offseason to work on that?
We worked, but one thing, we weren't getting in our losses. We were not getting very many turnovers, and we started trying to get more turnovers, and also we wasn't doing a very good job tackling. So we, back to the basics. You may say that's a generic answer, but that's where it was. We were fundamentally where we were supposed to be and doing all those things. We were sound in what we were doing, but we were doing a very good job getting the ball out or tackling. So that's something that we tried, spent more time on in practice, getting off blocks and doing the little things.
Coach, could you speak on what you think is the strengths of this year's Pisgah football team?
We have a lot of experience coming back. Our offensive line, we return all 5 of those guys. They've been doing it for a while, so we're excited about our front. Got a 3-year guy at quarterback as well. But like I said, we had 9 back on offense, 7 back on defense. We're excited about the experience. And like one of the coaches mentioned earlier, we had a lot of guys that rolled, so our depth should be able to help us this year, hopefully. So that's something that we've relied on. This bunch has been core, went through 2 years ago, the COVID year, and kind of the more games we played, the better we've gotten. So we're excited about that.
This is year number 5. When you went to Pisgah as a young coach, head coach for the first time, you had to have a plan in place. Are you where you thought you would be after 4 years going into your 5th year at Pisgah?
I was hoping it had come a lot sooner than it has, but yes, we started with the young kids and tried to build it all the way up. These guys were 8th graders. They don't have a lot of skill guys in their bunch. There are a lot of linemen. Caden's the only skill guy in the bunch. So, early on they didn't win. We really didn't see it until they were 9th graders, about pretty much where we are, 7 through 9 when we were playing those games, the potential that was there, and that's something. But yes, I'm excited where we are for the future.
Guys, I'm going to ask you the question I've asked the other guys that have come today about Media Day. Coach selected you 2 guys, 2 seniors, to come to represent your football team, your school, your town. Could you speak on what that means to you personally to be selected to be here today with Coach Pruitt?
It's great to know that out of all the people that plays for Coach and plays for Pisgah High School, and there's a lot that should be up here talking for me, honestly, but it's nice to know that, like what Coach said, the people that leads the team, not just the coaches, the people that holds you accountable, that runs through the line and does everything else, even the small things that might not seem important, like eating right, staying hydrated over the off season. I mean, it feels nice to know that Coach can trust us to come up here and represent Pisgah.
It's a real honor to be back up here. Pretty much it.
Coach, speaking of your schedule, I believe you've got a jamboree on the 19th, and then open with Lindsay Lane, first-year team. Do you know anything about them? I know they're from Athens. That's about all I know about Lindsay Lane.
Well, it's changed.
Oh, it changed.
So we're playing, actually, we're playing at our place, playing Glencoe. Coach Martin got with them for the Jamboree. We're supposed to go to Southeastern. Now we're going to come to our place for the 19th of Jamboree. I got an email last Thursday night that Lindsay Lane's not having a program this year.
Wow.
So we were scrambling about 10 o'clock that night. We had a kid have an ATV accident, and I'm talking to the dad. You know, he had to go to the hospital, whatever, get a phone call. I didn't recognize it. Thank goodness I answered it. It was Coach Lard at Lexington. And he was like, hey, Coach, he said, y'all got a spot open the 26th. Can we play? And I said, let me tell my principal. I didn't even know anything about it. He's the one that called and told me. He was like, well, at least we can figure out the logistics later on. So we're going to Lexington week 1.
Well, thank you for letting us know that, because I hadn't heard that.
That's messed up a bunch of. I got a phone call yesterday about we still had a week 1 open. Decatur Heritage, some of those guys are scrambling as well that had Lindsay Lane on the schedule.
Yeah, we got you some schedules in the back that will be wrong then, because we have Lindsay Lane. Well, speak on your schedule. I know that you got you open on the road. I think the first 2 now are on the road, but a lot of rivals on your schedule this year.
I'm excited about our region because they're a lot closer. You know, it's hard to get these guys to get up to go play. Nothing against OB at Tanner or Faulkner. Any of those guys are really good programs, but they didn't play them in Pee-wees or anything like that. But the guys on our schedule now, a lot of Jackson, DeKalb County schools. But we opened with Lexington. They went 7-4 last year. Coach Lard's done a really good job. Sandrock came back in. You're always going to get a physical deal with Sandrock. Then the other ones that can't move back in, Coach Benefield at Fiveson back in the room back here. But what he's done there speaks volumes to people. They say flattery is the greatest form, or mimic is the greatest form of flattery. People's trying to mimic what he's done there. And it stands alone with what it's done. He was voted this past year, or about a week ago, about top coach in the state. But that speaks volumes what he's done there. The last time that Fife and Collinsville and all those guys were in our region, they played Collinsville in the semis. So, Coach Willingham's back at Collinsville, so, they're back in there. And I think Collinsville beat North Sand, so, you still got those guys as well. But we've added Collinsville back, we added Sandrock back, we added Fife back. So those are local teams that have very successful programs, speak for themselves. So our schedule's not easy. We got Sylvania at 5, that's non-region. We add North Jackson for the first time ever in school history, week 10. So I'm excited about our schedule.
Well, Coach, of course, you've had some great success at Pisgah so far. Comment on this. Your dad, Dale, was it? Dad Coach, he really wasn't far from you at Day County, also up in Marion County. Now he's back home at Plainview. Does that add a little excitement in the family now that Dad's so-called back home? So to speak?
We've had some we played some common opponents. We were not able to get on the schedule this year. The whole Madison Academy thing kind of messed that up. We were supposed to open with them, original schedule, had Plainview won, but because it couldn't work out. But anyways, it has a little bit. So, excited for him to come back. He's a lot closer. My mom said he can't retire. So, but excited for him to be back a lot closer home. My sister works there as well, so he gets to see the grandkids more, I guess.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys. Good luck to the Pisgah Eagles in 2022. Thanks a lot.